sports and local high school sports.
Good morning to you. A year has gone by, and here we go again. Kentucky, Wisconsin, winner goes to the national championship, and everybody that's part of the Big Blue Nation remembers this, how it took this Aaron Harrison 3-ball for the Wildcats to advance over the Badgers in last year's national semifinal. Now, Kentucky certainly does not want the game to come down to a moment like that again, but the topic of discussion in yesterday's press conference in Indianapolis was about the landscape of college basketball. Sports Director Josh McKinney has more from Indy.
Coaches from teams in this season's Final Four met briefly Thursday with the media, and like every other stop Kentucky has made under Coach John Calipari, the topic of the one-and-done rule was discussed. With the recent success of the Kentucky basketball program under John Calipari, the talk of the one-and-done rule is as strong as ever.
It's just a different era. We're dealing with things in a different way, and you just have to. We all are. Whether it were me or Bo, if Bo has a guy that after a year is going to be a lottery pick, Bo's going to tell him, go for it. You got to do it. We're all in the same thing.
And while Calipari is the face of this new era of basketball, other programs have followed suit.
Nigel Hayes, after he said he was coming to Wisconsin, and you can ask him this, said, Coach, now if I'm the player of the year my freshman year and I decide to go pro, is that okay with you? That's when I knew I had a young man that, are you serious, Nigel? I just said, hey, sure. I have no problem with that.
And whether the style is right or wrong, as Cal says, it is always about the players.
They don't always make the right decision now. Like sometimes they should stay and they choose to leave. Well, you got to live with that too, because it's their life, not my life.
While many people focus on the players that leave Kentucky early to turn pro, Calipari made sure to mention the 10 players he has had graduate since his time in Lexington and the 4 other players that will get their degree this season. Reporting in downtown Indianapolis, Josh McKinney for WYMT Mountain Sports.
All right, thank you, Josh. When the top-seeded Cats take the court Saturday night, they will have a combined 405 inches of height on the floor. That being said, Wisconsin has a 7-footer in Frank Kaminsky, Frank the Tank, who played on this stage last year. In fact, the Badgers have 8 of their 9 guys back from that team, and Frank the Tank understands what they're up against, though, on Saturday.
Having so many, tall, athletic players on their team, it definitely doesn't make it easy. But at the same time, we know that we're going to be able to get some stuff just like they're going to be able to get some stuff going on offense. So it's going to be a battle. We know that. It's not tough. What are they have like 7 guys over 6'10", so it's going to be fun. I can't wait. It's not going to be easy to prepare because obviously there's no scout team in the country that can replicate what they have on their team. So we'll just be prepared for whatever.
8:49 tip time tomorrow night in Lucas Oil Stadium. Now to the football Cats. Kentucky's football team moved up its practice a day early, practicing yesterday morning instead of today. Mark Stoops plans to give his guys the weekend off to rest and heal, and of course they'll probably watch some basketball as well. One of the positions Stoops and his staff are most excited about is at tight end, with the addition of true freshman C.J. Conrad and the emergence of redshirt freshman Darrell Long. Both can be playmakers, blocking or catching the football.
It's always competition, but that brings out the best of us, So we're just trying, get the tight end room, as a whole is better. So, because we're both going to play this year, both, make sure that we both, do big things for this offense.
We just got guys now who can, stretch the field, but also, can be that inline blocker. So now you ain't one-dimensional. You're bringing in a guy who can block, then you got to bring in a guy who can pass. Don't want to get too over ahead of myself, but I think, that our tight end position is exactly, especially me playing the position, is exactly what we want right now.
Shaka Smart used to be the VCU head coach. Now he takes the Texas head coaching position. That's First Look at Sports this morning. Enjoy your morning.